What's up, Bulldog Score? I want to share something that I think might be beneficial to you. I've kind of thought about this a few times. I've talked about this a little bit on camera as I'm really gathering my ideas and my thoughts on this. But what I've noticed about myself, and this might be something that you would relate to as well, is that I tend to be a fixer and a repairer. Okay, now that's not necessarily a bad thing, except that I tend to overdo that and always see myself in the role of the person who has to fix things and repair things, right? When in regards to relationships, I would say, right? And I think the way that this plays out, the way that I see this happening, is that let's say that I get into a argument with someone, right? A heated discussion, whatever you want to call it, a fight. Even if I'm the one who feels like they are wronged, or I feel like I am upset at someone, I will go and pursue them to fix the problem. I will go and pursue the resolution of the problem. All right, so I'll try to fix whatever is wrong, or I will try to repair the relationship. And it's sort of, it might seem like a good thing, right? It might seem like a good thing. Yeah, it's good to want to repair things. It's good to want to fix things. It's good to not let things lie, right? Those are good things. However, I think in the situation where you're upset, I think it's important to tell someone that you're upset. You can tell someone what the issue is, what the grievance is, but you kind of have to leave it to them to then resolve the issue, right? And to see that it is actually resolved. Like, are you okay now? And it's almost like a control thing. It's almost like I don't trust people to do that. I don't trust that someone else is going to come in and fix the relationship. It's almost like, and I've thought about this because I was thinking about, my past marriage and how what I constantly would think in my head was like, wow, if I didn't come in and fix this problem, if I didn't come in and repair this relationship, if I didn't care, then it would just disappear. It would just dissolve because no one would care, right? And what's interesting about that is that it almost becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because now you put yourself in this place where you've got to constantly do this because the other person, you've trained them that they don't have any power, they don't have any responsibility to fix a relationship, because you're so afraid that if you let it drop, it will drop and they won't pick it up. And so they don't get to have that failure and have that almost threat, because it's almost like you're always going to come to the rescue, right? And that's, I've been thinking about this, and that's something that I didn't really get about myself, but I'm noticing now, right? And so I've been thinking about, how do you fix this? It's funny, but this is something that should be fixed. But how do I fix this in myself? Like, how do I stop doing this? And I think that the answer is pretty simple. I think it's pretty straightforward, which is to just let things unravel if they need to. Now, the thing in my head is I envision, the world's going to end. But in reality, that's not true, right? Because even if, there is an extended discussion or argument at a time, because I'm not coming into the rescue to fix the problem or to repair the relationship, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because it causes the other person to realize that they have some responsibility in a relationship, and if they want a relationship to work, that they've got to put in work to fix or repair a relationship, right? That's, it makes sense to do, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop fixing and stop trying to repair, stop pursuing whenever there is rifts in relationships. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to at all take responsibility or at all do a reasonable amount of attempting to repair, reconcile, or resolve issues. I think that is still important to do, but I'm not going to overly do it. I'm not going to, if someone is making any kind of clear signals that they're not going to put forth the effort, that they're not trying to figure out how to resolve an issue, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to keep on going. I'm just going to get on with my life and get on with my day and get on with my business, and and give them the time to come back and say, hey, John, I think I upset you about this thing, or I want to talk about something. So it's really hard for me to do. Okay, I know it might sound really weird, but it is like, it's a piece of control that I don't think I ever gave up. Even when, when I was, there was a period of time where I did give this up, and that was a rocky period. Well, it wasn't rocky for me, but it was rocky for a lot of people in my life when I was, when I was married before, and I was sort of going and doing whatever I wanted to do, right? It wasn't good. I'm not condoning that kind of behavior, but I kind of got to a point, I think, in my first marriage where I was like so tired of fixing things and so tired of being the repair person that I was just like, you know what? Whatever. Like, do whatever you want. I don't care. Like, if you're gonna be upset, be upset. If you're gonna cause a problem, cause a problem. I'm gonna be over here, at this nightclub, and I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like, I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna get on with my life. I'm not gonna invest so much. And so what I was doing was I was essentially detaching and not caring, really not caring, right? Which is not, it's not the same as being attached and open, which is really the thing that I'm trying to learn. That it's hard. And I've talked about this before, but it is really hard to be attached and open at the same time, especially in the midst of pain. So, yeah, so I don't know, like, I've just been thinking about that, and yeah, there was a period of time where I did, I was free from this, and there were definitely some negative repercussions for a lot of people for the way that I had done that. But I think there's a version of doing that is just letting go, and not resenting and not caring, in the sense that still moving on, but just giving other people the space to do the repairs. And maybe, to be honest, in my previous relationship, in my previous marriage, although there's definitely some issues that were not mine. Like, I'm not gonna, I don't want to say negative things, but I think that perhaps that was something that I had trained, kind of a behavior, because I was always fixing things, right? And so I was always doing the repair, and so I never gave her the opportunity to really do that full repair, very, very rarely. And so I kind of almost made it so that I would always be the one that had to carry that burden, right? And so that's something I want to stop doing, and I want to avoid doing, especially in my new marriage and relationship here, because it is destructive. I think it is destructive because it sort of almost requires other people to be perfect, because if they're not perfect, then I have to repair the thing, and so I'm going to be upset about that. It's like the only way, because they don't, I'm taking away the tool from them to repair, so the only thing that they can do is really be perfect, and that's a pretty heavy burden. And it's like, from my perspective, I don't see it like that. I don't see the burden that I'm putting on people by doing that, because I'm just thinking, look, just be decent, just like just take the step forward and fix things. But I'm so fast to go in and fix the thing, I'm so fast to try and do the repair, that I'm not allowing the other person to create a reconciliation on their part. And so what it looks like, or maybe feels like to them, is that I'm just beating them up, right? Because I'm just going after this, like, we have to get to the issue, the bottom of this, and repair this, especially when it's an issue where I'm upset, right? Which is sort of the opposite of, I think, the natural order of things, right? So if someone upsets you, you felt like they've done harm to you, it's sort of up to them to repair. Like, you can't force the repair. You can't force them into, submission or apology. I mean, not that that's, I don't want to paint like the wrong picture here, but these are things that I'm thinking about as I'm learning, this about myself, and how, and I don't know exactly where this precisely comes from, but it's like, I just don't trust other people. Sometimes I feel like, I'm the only person who really gets it, who really cares, like, who holds everything together. And that's a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress. Now, again, as a man, you should be the leader. You should be the leader of the relationship, you should be the leader of your house. But you shouldn't feel like you have to hold everything together because no one else will. I don't think that's not good. That creates a lot of stress on yourself and then on other people, because again, like they're messing up your thing if they step out of line, right? Whereas it's almost like you kind of gotta be like, okay, well, hey, if you screw things up, then you gotta fix things. That's how it is. It's almost like, like as I'm thinking about this now, I just dropped my daughter off at school, but I give her responsibility to clean her room, right? To take care of her, get to school on time, like wake up on time, all this stuff, like set her alarm, all this stuff. I talked about this on this channel. And so, I do that because I want her to be responsible, and I want her to see that it's on her, so she doesn't have someone doing this for her. Like if I went in, for example, and I woke her up every morning and set her alarm for her and, made sure that she did everything that she was supposed to do, then I'd be sort of robbing her of the ability to be responsible in that area, and she would become more dependent on me and more irresponsible. And then she would also kind of resent me in the sense that, I'm the one that's harping on her and almost nagging her to make her, do the right thing, right? Whereas it's like, just let me do the right thing, like let me suffer the consequence, and then from that consequence, I'll learn to do the right thing. So, yeah. That's my revelation for today. Let me know if you guys can relate to this. Does this even make sense what I'm saying? Have you struggled with this before? And yeah, if you haven't taken the Bulldog quiz, there's a link down below. So take it. Let me know what your score is. But yeah, some deep thoughts this morning. Let me know what you think. See you later.